Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra Semester 1 Final Exam Review, Unit number 4. Today we're going to be talking about solving and graphing linear inequalities. So just remember to solve and graph each inequality and to write the solution on the given line. Now, number 1. How do we get that in by itself? Well, we would solve it just like any other linear equation. I would follow the rules of SADMAP. But since we are dividing by -2, I would multiply to get rid of it. Now, the only main thing is if you multiply or divide by a negative with an inequality, we have to flip that sign. Okay? So now m is greater than or equal to a negative times a negative is a positive 28. Okay? So when we come down here, we put 28 in the middle. Are we open or closed? Remember when the lines underneath were closed, and that's the greater than symbol. So everything to the right. And our final answer, which we write on the line, is m is greater than or equal to 28. All right, number 2. So once again, we're going to follow the rules of SADMAP. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides. 8 plus 6 is 14, which is greater than or equal to 7x. And I want to get that x by itself, so I'm going to divide by 7. Now, I did not divide by negative, so I don't flip the sign. The only thing is we want that variable first, so I'm going to rewrite. I'm going to put the x first and then the 2, and the inequality is pointing at the x, so when I rewrite it, I want the inequality pointing at the x. So x is less than or equal to 2. I'm going to come down here, go 2, 3, 4, 2 numbers up above and 2 numbers below. And once again, we are closed at 2 because the line's underneath it, and it's less than. So I'm going to shade everything to the right, to the left. All right, number 3. Don't be scared, we're doing the same steps. Okay, first thing is we have to distribute. -6 times 3 is -18w. -6 times -5 is a positive 30, less than 30, plus 17w. I want to get the variables to one side, so I'm going to move the smaller variable. And we have 30 is less than 30 plus 35. I'm going to subtract the 30. 30 minus 30 is 0, which is less than 35w. And then we divide. 0 divided by 35 is 0. Now, the only thing that's wrong with this is we have to rewrite this. So the w is first, so w is 0, and it's pointing at 0, so I'm going to make sure we are still pointing at 0. So w is greater than 0. 0 goes in the middle, 2 above, 2 below, and we are open, and I want everything that is greater. Okay. All right, let's look at number 4. So when the inequality is in the middle, or the variable is in the middle, I'm sorry, we're going to do the same thing, all right? I want the variable by itself, so I'm following the rules of SADMAP. Now, I'm dividing by a negative, so everything has to switch. X is by itself. -12 divided by -4 is a positive 3. 16 divided by -4 is a -4. And now if you look at all of my variables or my numbers they're not in order. So when that happens, I have to rewrite because the lowest number has to go first. Okay, between the x and the -4, I am pointing at the -4. And between the 3 and the x, we are pointing at the x, and that's the one that has the line underneath it. So when we shade, or when the x, is in the middle, I am going to shade the middle. Okay, so yours is going to have a different graph because I printed this wrong on mine. So hold on just a sec. Okay, so I don't know what yours is going to look like, but this is what mine looks like. At -4, I'm going to be open. At 3, I'm going to be closed. And then I'm going to shade everything in the middle. Okay? Alrighty. Number 5. Once again, with the compound inequalities, we just want to do the same thing. We want to get the x by itself. But what I do to one side, I do to all 3 sides. Okay? So -8 plus 10 is 2, which is less than 2x, which is less than or equal to 18. And to get the x by itself, I divide, and this time I'm dividing by 2. So we get 1 is less than x, which is less than or equal to 9. That's what I'm going to write as my answer. And then I'm going to come down here on my graph. Okay, so there's going to be 0, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So at 1, I am open. At 9, I am closed. And we're going to shade everything in the middle. Okay. All right, let's look at number 6. Okay, so number 6 is a compound inequality. We have 2 separate inequalities, and we're going to treat them like that. Okay, so first we have the 5n minus 9 is less than or equal to -44. So I'm going to solve that one first, which means I'm going to add 9 to both sides. -44 plus 9 is a -35. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 5. So we get that n is less than or equal to -7. Now, I didn't flip that because I didn't divide by a negative. I divided a negative. There is a difference. Okay, now on the right side, we're going to add the 4 to both sides. So I have -4n is less than -20. And then here I'm dividing by, see, I'm dividing by -4. That's when we have to flip the sign. So n is greater than +5. Okay, so our answer, n is less than or equal to -7, or n is greater than 5. Okay, so on my number line, I've got 0 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7. Okay. So at -7, I am closed and I want to shade everything to the left. And at 5, I'm open and I'm shading everything to the right. Okay, let's go ahead and flip it over. Number 7 is saying to graph each linear inequality and give a sample solution for each. So what I notice for number 7 is that the x is by itself, and when the x is by itself, it's a vertical line. Okay, now that inequality means that it's going to be solid and it is less than. Okay, so at -4, so x is less than -4, that's -4 right there, and x, oh, hold on a second, gotta get my straight edge. Okay, yes, you need a straight edge, don't be lazy. I just went up, paused the video and got one. Hopefully you did too. So normally we would say above or below, but I can't shade below a vertical line. So I want all the numbers that are less. So less is everything to the left. Now a sample solution, it doesn't matter where it is, but there we go. Anything in the shaded area, and that is the point -5, -6, -7, -8, +5. Anything in the shaded area works. All right, number 8. So with number 8 right here, the first thing that I notice, there are 2 variables, but I need it to be solved for y. Sorry, I'm just going to move this over a little bit so I can show my work. All right, so solving for y, I need the y by itself, so I'm going to subtract the 2x. We get 3y is less than -2x plus 12. And then I need to divide by 3. So we get that y is less than -2/3 x plus 4. So looking at my inequality, it's going to be open. It's going to be below because it's less than. And then my slope is -2/3, which means down 2 to the right 3. And I'm starting at 0, 4. Okay, so I'm going to use all that information over here as I start to graph. Okay, so it's 0, 4, and then I'm going to go down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3. And notice that I'm making open points. Okay, and then I'm going to use my straight edge to connect all of those dots with a dashed line. We said that this is less than, so with less than, I need to shade everything that is below. Okay, and a sample solution, anything that's in there, you know me, I like to go for the easy points, and that is 0, 0. But anything in the shaded area will work. Okay, last ones we have to write an inequality. Number 9, I know it's a diagonal line, so I need an x and a y. Our y-intercept right there is at the point 0, 2, and my slope is going 1, 2, 3, up 3 over 4. Okay? The other things that we need to pay attention to is that it is open and that it is above. So y open and above is the greater than symbol. 3/4 x. plus 2. All right, number 10. Number 10, the first thing I notice is that this is horizontal. When it's horizontal, it's only the y. Okay, it's a solid, and it's below at 3. So solid and below, so y is less than or equal to 3. And number 11, yep, number 11 is a vertical line. Vertical line is x. It's open because of the dashed lines, and it's to the left, and that means it is less than, and it's less than -2. Okay, well, that's it for Algebra Semester 1, Unit 4. If you have any questions, please come see Mr. Grice or Ms. Carranza. We would love to help you out. Otherwise, this is it. It's almost time for finals. Hope you're ready. Work on that note card. All right, if you have any questions, see us. Otherwise, this is Mr. Grice signing off. Thanks for watching.